66 quarterbacks this season started a game in the NFL and did this. That tied a record in the National Football League that was set a year ago. Now, David, to wrap things up, I couldn't help but notice you're wearing the ring from Super Bowl 42.
Yeah, the rings and things.
Show it off to the camera.
That's what they said. The rings and things they sing about, bring them out.
Is that something you wear all the time or only for special occasions?
Only for special occasions. I'm too nervous about losing it, man. I'm like, I clutch my fist with it on my...
You see that roof? That's the lid that covers this facility that is Allegiant Stadium. That roof is made up of translucent roof panels that shine down on the field here. And here in Las Vegas, you want to spend as much time outside as possible, so that lid makes you inside and outside at the same time. Picture this, April 30th, 2022, day 3 of the NFL Draft. Names at a podium just like this one are being called left and right. The dream of being selected to an NFL franchise slowly slipping away. That's how Brock Purdy felt. But then came round 7, pick number 262, the final selection of the NFL Draft. Whoa, I'm out of breath running all the way over here. But Syracuse men's track and field, I'll just say, has much better stamina than this guy. Welcome to Durham, North Carolina. Welcome to Cameron Indoor Stadium, but more specifically, welcome to Krzyzewskiville, or K-ville, where students camp out, sleep in tents for Duke men's basketball's biggest games. But it's winter break, so there's no fans camping out for Duke versus Syracuse tonight. But even so, I mean, this is Cameron Indoor Stadium. Expect this place to be packed. I know it doesn't look full right now, but people will show up for Syracuse and Duke. The Blue Devils have won each of the last 8 meetings over the Orange, but Syracuse enters this year's matchup on a 5-game win streak. Yeah, Schrader had a really rough day, and he had a rough day against Clemson in North Carolina, but today's tough day in the office was a little bit different. Last night, after the team dinner, Garrett Schrader suffered from food poisoning, Dino Babers told us after this contest, and it ultimately hindered him. He was dehydrated, he wasn't in the right mindset. Dino Babers said, quote, "It was coming out from all sides," and he moved his arms out wide, he outstretched them, and said it wasn't looking good for Garrett Schrader. That's why Schrader was pulled out earlier in the 4th quarter. It wasn't a performance issue, it was because he suffered from food poisoning, and he was feeling the effects of it throughout today's contest.
And folks, this won't be the last time you see Quadir Copeland in top plays.
Quadir Copeland's a human highlight reel.
Really is.
That guy just likes to have fun. But you know who else likes to have fun? That's Savannah Schweitzer. Little BTB action behind the back, inside the 8. Are you kidding me? 3-5. She had an around the world goal against Army earlier this year, but she is crafty when she gets inside the 8-meter arc. 2 defenders in front, no problem for Savannah Schweitzer. She buries it home. 2 goals in the loss to Stony Brook in overtime. Here's where the ACC stands in the women's college basketball season. The conference tournament is set. So this right here is a locked bracket. The final stretch of the regular season, though, had a ton of ramifications. So how did the conference shape up like this? Well, we'll start with the 4 seed in Notre Dame. The Irish lost to NC State on February 15th, but then knocked out 5 opponents in a row. Duke, the #1 scoring defense in the conference this year, Clemson, and then BC. Then in the last week of the season, Notre Dame tied with Florida State and Louisville at 11-5 for the 4th place spot in the conference, took down Virginia Tech and Louisville at home to secure that #4 spot and a 2-game bye in the tournament. In the first half of this matchup between Syracuse and Duke, it was a back-and-forth affair. A big reason why? Well, the Blue Devils on this end went 0 for 9 from beyond the arc. Duke still entered the halftime break with a 2-point lead. Both teams went to the locker room, talked some things out, but then in the second half, the Blue Devils came out and went 8 for 8 from 3-point land on this end, en route to an 86-66 victory over the Orange. Andrew, I know the wall behind us here says winter is coming. I think winter is here. SU women's ice hockey started the season, started 2-0. I know the weather's nice outside, but I'm ready for some hockey. I'm ready for some puck. Oregon, a team on the bubble, makes its way into the NCAA tournament with a Pac-12 championship and takes on South Carolina. It feels like every time the Ducks are in the dance, they quack. Dana Altman has a way of getting the best out of his players in March. The Gamecocks struggled in the SEC tournament, and leading scorer Michi Johnson has just 9 points in the conference's postseason. That's 2 games. That won't fly in the NCAA tournament. But you know what will? Ducks, and they fly together. Give me 10 feathers on Oregon moneyline. Syracuse closed up the Dome last week with a big 10-point win over Pitt. but the 2 seed still in reach for the Orange. The only obstacle that stood in the way was NC State. The battle for a higher seed in that tournament happened in Raleigh late last week, so let's check out how it went down in Reynolds Coliseum. The last time Syracuse and NC State went head-to-head, you got to go back to the ACC tournament last year, the second round. The Wolfpack dominated the Orange, but early in this game, Deaja Fair started off hot. Fair with a 3-pointer to make it 5-5 early. Then, a few plays later, Fair, basically an identical 3, put Syracuse up 13-12. She had 6 3-pointers in this game, finished it with 26 points. On the other end, River Baldwin put this one home for 2. This game was back and forth. It's a common theme throughout this one, but Sanaya Rivers turns defense into offense. She finished this one with 22 points. NC State entered the halftime break up by 3. But in the second half, Isabel Verjao helped out on the offensive end. She went 1 for 5 from 3-point land. Here's the bucket. She was wide open, got it to go, helped out this Syracuse offense, the Orange, up by 2 early in the second half. But this feed from Sanaya Rivers to the corner to Zoe Brooks. What a 3-pointer. Again, like I said, back and forth these two teams went, showing why they are the 2 powerhouses of the conference. Sanaya Rivers on the offensive end with that 3-pointer. She could do it from all 3 levels on the offensive side of the floor. She could also pass the rock well. Inside feed to River Baldwin, laid it in for 2. NC State led 66-64, 26 seconds to go. How does Syracuse respond? Well, an air ball 3 from Verjao. Latham gets the rebound. She's fouled, but is there any time left when Latham gets fouled? Let's see. She grabs the ball. She's fouled with 1/10 of a second to go. So Alyssa Latham, with the game in her hands, can she send this contest to the extra period? Well, let's look at the free throw. It's good. So the extra period, Syracuse and NC State go. Sophie Burrows makes it 69-68, just seconds into overtime. But that was it for Syracuse, because NC State went on a late 5-0 run to pull the Wolfpack ahead. NC State was all over Syracuse in overtime. Madison Hayes iced the cake with just over a minute to go. NC State up 75-71, takes this one in Raleigh.
Kelly checks in for Reeves for Georgia Tech. The Jackets are on offense, attacking the left basket. Sturdivant in the left corner. Back up top to Kelly near midcourt. Kelly on the left wing, takes one dribble, hoists a left wing 3 off the front rim. A fight for the rebound between Dongo and Taylor, and the refs call a foul on Justin Taylor. That's the sophomore's second foul, and a 1-and-1 opportunity for Bai Dongo. 21-21, just over 5 minutes to go in the first half. Dongo, who has 6 points, went 2 for 2 in his previous trip to the stripe, has a 1-and-1. Dongo takes 3 dribbles, puts up a free throw, and it's true. Dongo grew up in a soccer family, but when he was 14, and he's from Senegal, when he was 14, his sister convinced him to play basketball after a growth spurt. Then he continued to play basketball, made the move to the States to play high school ball. And now he's playing at Georgia Tech, goes 2 for 2 from the charity stripe after he converts on the second free throw. Georgia Tech leads 23-21, just over 5 minutes to go in the first half. It's the second time the Jackets have held a lead. Taylor on the left wing, passes it to Brown straight away. Gives it to Mintz on the left corner. Mintz drives to his left, kicks it out to Starling straight away. Over to Mintz. Faked a 3 from the right wing. Crosses over to his right. Carves his way to the cup. Stops. Turns. Passes it to Taylor on the left wing. 5 on the shot clock. Taylor looks at the basket. Launches a left wing 3. Too strong. George gets the rebound for Georgia Tech. The Jackets can take a 2-possession lead. George lobs it up top to Kapari. He's fouled on the way up. The fans reacted because Dongo put it back home, but Copeland hit Kapari as the forward went up for that jam. That's Copeland's second personal foul. So 3 players on Syracuse have 2 infractions. Chris Bell, Justin Taylor, and Quadir Copeland. And Jackson with limited depth. The Orange can't afford that.
No, they can't. You took the words right out of my mouth. He can't do that for Syracuse. Can't foul right there.
Syracuse in a scoring drought of nearly 4 minutes. Kapari's first free throw is good. Kapari, a 4-star recruit, spent his senior year of high school in Connecticut. He's a UMass transfer, spent his freshman year there, played only 12 minutes a game, then came to Georgia Tech with Damon Stoudemire. Gapari hits the second free throw. He goes 2 for 2, so Georgia Tech has its largest lead of the game, 25-21, 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Mintz straight away, thought about a three, didn't take it, passes it to Copeland. The two-play catch. Mintz gets a left screen from Brown, launches a straightaway trifecta, too strong. Taylor fights for the rebound, he gets it. Syracuse still on offense. Copeland crosses over to his right, drives down the right alley. A double team comes under the basket. He puts up a reverse shot, and it's true. I don't know how Quadir Copeland got that off, but nonetheless, it counts for 2 points, and Georgia Tech leads 25-23. 4 minutes to go in the first frame. Syracuse in that 2-3 zone. Dongo lobs it to Gapari, who ends up with it and jams it home with two hands. Taylor leaped in the air, tried to tip it away, couldn't reach the basketball. Gapari ended up with it with tons of space and put it home. Georgia Tech leads 27-23.
Taylor had the right idea there, but he mistimed his jump.
3.5 minutes to go in the first half. Copeland, kick out to Mintz, up top to Taylor, over to Copeland on the left wing. Copeland to Mintz, straight away, three. Too short. Kelly gets the board for Georgia Tech. The Jackets go from right to left. Gapari on the right wing, takes one dribble, puts up a shot off the window and through. Georgia Tech is firing on all cylinders. The Jackets on top of the Orange, 29-23, and Adrian Autry calls a timeout.
Hey, good afternoon, Kat. In Syracuse men's basketball's 89-77 win over Canisius last night, guard J.J. Starling played a complete game. The Notre Dame transfer put up 17 points to go along with a career-high 7 boards and 7 assists. While the sophomore has prolific scoring abilities with double figures in each of the first 2 contests this season, Starling says getting his teammates involved is a part of his style.
That's my game. Especially coming out of high school, I was labeled as a shooter, but little did they know, I'm a playmaker. I'm able to score, and obviously that's what I do most, but at the end of the day, I love getting my teammates involved in the game. Sharing the sugar is big for me.
Well, Starling dished out some sweet treats last night, but this might seem new. Last season with the Irish, the Baldwinsville native never had more than 3 assists in a game. The guard can give his teammates more desserts next Tuesday when Syracuse hosts Colgate. The Raiders have taken down the Orange in each of the last 2 seasons. Game time is at 7 on November 14th, and we'll get you started at 6:30 with McClure Remodeling countdown to tip-off. Over to the gridiron. Start spreading the news. Syracuse football takes on Pitt this weekend at Yankee Stadium. The reason this matchup is in the Bronx? Well, this contest marks the 100th anniversary of the first football game played in the house that Ruth built. SU took the matchup 3-0 over Pitt in 1923. This year's tilt in the concrete jungle is on Saturday at 3:30. Be sure to tune into McClure Remodeling countdown to kickoff at 3. In the NHL, the Islanders take on the Bruins tonight. New York has just 1 victory in its last 4 games. Meanwhile, Boston is first in the Eastern Conference. Puck drop is set for 7. Ben Spector, WAER Sports.